Let's check in now with Ralph Shaheen. He has more on defending series champion Frank Kimmel.
Obviously, when you win a championship, Steve, you have lots of luck. But the one thing that Frank Kimmel says he's never had here at Daytona is luck. And he told me just before they took off on the grid, that's the one thing that's keeping him from finding victory lane, which, believe it or not, happens to be all of about 10 yards from his pit stall today.
All right, thanks a lot, Ralph. Frank Kimmel wants to win here. Let's take a look at our onboard cameras. Rick Corelli in the Remax car. He starts in the 12th position. Frank Kimmel in the Advanced Auto Parts Port, the other white meat car, starts 11th. Billy Venturini, the son of two-time series champion Bill Venturini, he starts second. He's in the Future Network Broadcasting car. And our pole sitter, Chase Montgomery, number 27, the ARCA Remax Series onboard view.
And trust me, we'll be using those shots a lot today, and it will be plenty of action. We've already got the 34 car of Daryl Basham. He's on pit road, never really made it off pit road. They have the hood up, so his problems is starting early.
Talking about a bad feeling. Whenever you get ready to start what they consider as their biggest race of the season, you can't get off pit road. Those guys right now are really hurting.
Let's take a look at the race analysis for today's race. Daytona International Speedway, the ARCA Remax Series. 41 cars. It's an 80-lap event, 200 miles, purse of $150,000. And here, crew chiefs, let's talk about that fuel window.
Well, actually, I think the fuel window is going to be a little longer than that. It's an 80-lap race. The guys was talking about, Jeff, these tires, they will run probably longer than 200 laps. The real issue is going to be fuel, but all of them feel like they can make it on one stop.
Exactly. We got the 59 car coming down pit road also, Larry. Looks like he's got problems before the start of the race. They're putting fuel in that car, and on NASCAR, if you do that before the green flag, you would automatically go down a lap, and we had the 21 car coming down pit road.
That's Todd Bowser, as we talked about earlier. That's one of the most famous names. We should mention before the race, they honored all the previous ARCA champions in driver introductions. That's a nice touch by ARCA.
It really, really was. They've been around a long time, and a lot of people don't really realize how significant of an impact they've had in the sport of auto racing, with all the greats like A.J. Foyt, and even our own Darrell Walton was raced in ARCA and won races.
And Jeff Hammond has.
That's exactly right.
There it is, 2.5 miles in length, 31 degrees banking in the corner. And Jeff, the travel banking, you and I were down there this morning. It's hard to stand up at the start-finish line on the front stretch.
It really is, Larry. And the one thing we don't want to forget about this racetrack, we didn't get a chance to talk much about the weather, but it's cloudy here today, and the wind has been changing and going up and down. And as you know, when the wind gets crossing this racetrack, a lot of times it can create handling problems.
Let's go down to Ralph Shaheen. Ralph?
Well, you talked about some of the cars making quick pit stops. The 59, for example, it changed a motor earlier this morning, so they were just out checking things, brought back in. They were going to have to go to the back of the pack anyway. So since they were going to the back, they thought, well, let's just get that extra gallon of fuel, and they shoved it in.
All right, thank you, Ralph. 59, Mark Gibson. 34, Daryl Basham back onto the racetrack.
As long as he could get his race car on the racetrack by the time they took the green flag, then he'll be in good shape.
Mark Gibson, we saw just a moment ago from Daytona Beach, driving that 59 car. Field entering turn 4. What do you think, boys?
I'm saying pull them tight, boys. Don't jump the start. And I know one thing, I'm starting to get excited.
Pace car is, in fact, heading to pit road, and that means we're about to go racing.
200 miles, 80 laps.
Easy, easy. Green flag is down.
The 39th Annual Discount Auto Parts 200 is underway here at the Daytona International Speedway.
They're going to make it 3 wide before they even get out of the trial now. Come on, guys, a little bit of patience. Chase Montgomery in the 27 car, the pole sitter. He's caught in the middle. He's going to go all the way back to about 12th before they get to turn 1.
Larry, I may be wrong, but it looked like he had a problem at the start. Billy Venturini really looked like he should shot out.
Billy Venturini lives in Concord, North Carolina, the son of two-time ARCA Series champion Bill Venturini.
Something's wrong with that car. It does not sound like it's hitting on all 8 cylinders. You usually see them, they're going by him on the high side, the low side. He definitely has a problem.
And at 18 years of age, I'm sure he doesn't know exactly what to think about that. So you might better be careful when you come up on that car right now, guys. Be careful.
Back up front, 4 or 5 cars nose to tail. 2 wide back there, the 75, Michael Vergers. He's the young man from Great Britain, making his debut here in ARCA.
He's caught on the bottom of the racetrack right now. That second groove looked like it's what's moving. That's where they're lined up. They've got him caught on the bottom, and there's nothing you can do there.
He gets car trouble up on the high side. On the high side.
Oh, that's Jason Jarrett, the 67. He's off the pace.
Looks like maybe he may have a tire going down or something.
Battle for the lead.
Bobby Gearhart in that 5 car, bringing Keith Seegers in the 04 car with him. This is the same car that Bobby Gearhart won Talladega with. And we talked to him, Jeff. He felt very confident about his chances today.
Yes, he did. He really was very pumped up about the way his car was working. He has a setup for this racetrack, and he doesn't deviate from it, which really surprised me. A lot of guys try a lot of different things, but he decided to stick with his setup, and he's been very successful with it.
And we saw Keith Seegers. Jeff, you mentioned that's a Morgan McClure car. If it looks familiar, it is a Winston Cup car.
Absolutely. And they've got several of the guys from the Cup team working on that car, and they were the fastest in practice. The only practice these guys had yesterday.
The 05, the High Plains drifter, Rick Corelli.
We got a car real slow off of turn 2 over here. I don't know if he's going to make it back. He may have one of the first caution flags.
And we understand Jason Jarrett may have a tire going down. Don't want to be running at 200 miles an hour with a tire going down.
See Frank Kimmel in that 50 car. Remember, he was our champion last year. And I looked at his stats. 10 wins,
Oh, they're scary.
11 poles, and 25 starts, 22 top 10s. That's the reason he's champion.
Let's check in with Ralph Shaheen. Ralph?
Well, the problem with your pole sitter is definitely a motor problem. It will not get above 6,000 RPMs. I just spoke to his crew chief, Keith Batson. They're not sure what the problem is, and they're not seeing anything over 6,000 RPMs. And with 2 crew chiefs next to you, Steve, I think both of them will tell you 6,000 RPMs isn't going to get you far, but down pit road here.
No, it's that is the worst situation you can get is to have your foot flat on the floor and the car will not get up to speed.
Now, these cars, they want to turn them now. They run a 29/32 restrictor plate. That's just a 30-second bigger than the 7/8 plate that Winston Cup runs. And in the draft, these things make peak power around 6,800 to 7,000 RPMs in the draft.
Bobby Gearhart. Seegers taking a look on the outside. That familiar-looking Kodak car, what used to be a Winston Cup car. Seegers from Jacksonville, Florida.
Owns an auto repair shop. A lot of these guys, they don't race full-time for a living. Keith Seegers only runs a handful of races each year.
The red 4 car, Justin Labonte, making a nice showing. Justin's just 21 years old, just had a birthday, I believe.
If you notice, that's a Dodge, and this at one time was a Ford. It was driven by Rick Mass when it was a Ford back in the mid-90s, and Ernie Elliott did the engine for this race car.
Not to mention, he's also got his grandfather, Bob Labonte, working on this car, and he is basically the mentor of the Labonte brothers, Bobby and Terry.
Bobby Gearhart continues to lead, followed by Keith Seegers. We'll be back at the Daytona International Speedway on the Speed Channel.